thanks guys for joining today's match day -2 media availability with Nashville SC head coach BJ Callaghan ahead of this weekend's match with CF Montréal. Coach, team's winners of 2 straight, starting a 2-match homestand this weekend. How's training gone so far this week, and what do you expect to see from Montreal?
Yeah, training's been good. Obviously, with a Sunday game, a little bit on like a short rest, quick turnaround. So a focus on not only Montreal, but also just making sure we get the proper recovery and the proper preparation time. But yeah, so been a good week so far, and looking forward to kind of getting our last little bits in tomorrow before the match at Geodis, which we're excited to play in front of the fans again.
Great, thank you. We'll start with Ben, and go ahead and ask 2 if you have them.
Yeah, BJ, you've talked a few times just about wanting to establish a winning culture in Nashville. I know you're focused on kind of the game-to-game aspect, but just from a bigger picture perspective, how important is it to kind of stack some wins on top of each other, especially at home?
Yeah, I mean, I think the winning is sort of the output of I think everything that we've been putting into it, and it's an important component to get that and to sort of give us that final piece that what we're doing, the daily work that we put in is something that can yield positive results. And so for us, I think we've been really happy with most of the performances. We've been able to learn some things. We've been able to take some positives away, and now to turn those into, I would say, not only into winning performances, but into performances that we're proud of and can continue to build from.
And then I asked last week, I know about Andy, and he ended up playing, but a similar question. Julian played, I think, 65 minutes or so for Huntsville. Is he back in the picture for you guys, and how do you hope to replace a guy like Andy who's been such an important piece?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the international window is going to force us to change the 20-man roster due to the fact of those guys out. So Julian's in consideration for sure. Josh Bauer is somebody else that we've played at right back during the preseason as well. So he's in consideration for that position. And I think as we kind of go through today, the finalizing of today and all the way through tomorrow, we'll be able to make that decisions. But of course, there's going to be changes because we're forced to with playing through the international window.
Go ahead, Bob.
How nice was to see some of those goals going last week, and what do you got to do to continue that this week?
Yeah, it's I think whenever you play against a team like Philadelphia, you want to make sure that the chances that you get, you capitalize on. The team that the team has been close. I think we've had a lot of chances we maybe haven't executed as well. But to see that final piece happen is great, and for us, it's just continuing to do exactly what we do, and we have confidence that we'll be able to create goal scoring chances, and confidence that in the guys that they'll continue to finish on.
Julian?
Expecting to see a very motivated Montreal group that's kind of starting off pretty slow at the gate here.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you see from Montreal is, one, it's a really well-coached team. Especially when you talk with a team that has an identity with the ball. I think Laurent's done a great job, and he's a brave coach that plays young players. And yeah, unfortunately they have to start the season. I think it's with 7 games on the road due to the construction that they have at their home stadium. So when you're able to go back and look at Montreal, they're going to be motivated. They're also a team that we continue to see have better performances week after week. And obviously, with them getting a point on at DC, it's a team that I think is going to have a lot of confidence. And we know that winning on the road is hard in this league, but when you do it for 7 games in a row, I think it evens itself out. So we expect a really competitive team, and we're preparing for that.
Okay.
Building off of that, how much is that part of the discussion, their recent struggles? Obviously, you could look at that one of 2 ways, right? A team lacking confidence going on the road again, or a team that's desperate and hungry, and we know how dangerous that can be in this league. How much is that a part of the conversation leading up to this game within the building? Yeah,
I would say when we do our opponent evaluation and analysis, we don't put a lot of stock into the form of the team. It's more about what are the players available, what are the matchups going to be, and what are they trying to do in the different phases of the game. And we know that it's a team that when they have the ball, there's a very clear structure, there's a very clear identity. And when I say that, there's a lot of variability in what they do. So for us, it's going to be a difficult team to game plan for. And I think a team that's going to provide a lot of challenges to us, especially when they have the ball. And it's a group that we're going to have to be up to the task for, because I think they're growing in confidence. and they do a lot of, you know, again, I think just being well coached, they do a lot of unique things that we're going to have to be prepared for.
Obviously, the tie with Laurent and Wilfred Nancy and his time in Columbus, how many similarities do you see in terms of what they try to do on the ball and some of those variables you're talking about?
I mean, I would say the team is still very much in the identity of Laurent, but I think there's certainly, you know, they want to have the ball, they value the ball, they're able to attract the opponent into different areas. They have some real attacking threats that can threaten you behind the back line. So I certainly think there's probably influence, but this is a team that I think has, you know, the head coach's fingerprints all over it. It's not a copy of another team at all.
Well, you've had goal contributions from defenders on all your open play goals so far this year. Just how pleased are you with the way your back four has contributed into the attack, and how big of a focus has that been for your team?
Yeah, we talk a lot here that everyone attacks and everyone defends, and so for us, just, you know, I think it shows that everybody has a role and a responsibility in all the phases of play, and we'll take goal contributions from anybody that we can get. Conversely, it's the same thing that we ask from our attacking players. You know, a lot of emphasis goes on how much they're scoring goals, but for our attacking players, the same demand is there on the and the same emphasis is there when we don't have the ball and how much they have to defend, and I think you see them embodying it. So, you know, for us, as we continue to try and be a complete team that puts in really consistent performances over the years, or over the year, everyone's going to have to attack, everyone's going to have to defend, and I think you're seeing glimpses of that now.
As you're getting healthier in central midfield and Brugman getting more minutes and Eddie and Patrick turning in the performances they have, how has that competition kind of evolved, and what kind of atmosphere is there at training and every day, just as those guys kind of battle for places and maybe you have some difficult decisions to make in midfield? Yeah,
I would say for me, as the guys have gotten back healthy over the last 2 weeks, you've definitely seen the competition inside the group pick up, right? And that's a healthy environment for us. That's what we want. At the same time, we know that it's a long season and everyone's going to get counted on and everyone's going to have their role. So whether they're starting or even the way you see the contributions of the guys that come off the bench right now, and the roles that they're taking on, I think has been really good. And we welcome hard decisions, and we're going to have hard decisions this week, and I hope to have hard decisions each and every week, because that means that we've got a really good, healthy environment that's competitive, and also a group that's, you know, it's not just about the starting 11, it's about the 20 that make the game day roster, and knowing that it's going to take a 20-man effort each game day to get these results. It's a hard league to win in, and for us, you know, we know that it's a group collective effort.
We'll go to the Zoom. We'll start with Jacob and then Valera, and go ahead and ask 2 questions if you guys have them.
Yeah, BJ, something interesting from covering the game on TV on Sunday was I heard that Hany Mukhtar is, you know, in the top 10 in MLS, or was coming in the game and coming in shots from outside the box, and it seemed like, you know, teams are just trying to take him a little bit farther away from goal, out of dangerous areas. How much of that is just, you know, teams defending and knowing how dangerous he can be close to goal? And I guess, is that something you would, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think any team's objective is going to try and keep, you know, goal scorers away from the goal. You know, so it's always a challenge, and we always talk about it, Jacob, about trying to create high-quality goal-scoring chances. We know where, you know, goals come from, and for us, it's about how we can find players in those opportunities. And as we kind of, I think you saw from Sam and Ahmed's goal, like, if you can get deep inside the penalty box, good things can happen, and that's what our intent's going to be. But if you're the opponent, you want to do the opposite. You want to try to keep every good player away from it, and that's the, you know, I would say that's kind of the name of the game, and we're going to continue to try to create good goal scoring chances for all of our players.
Have you seen any instances of just players being able to maybe use maybe gravity from Hany and teams and even Sam? Have you seen maybe instances this year of players being able to take advantage of that?
I mean, I think for us, the more attacking weapons we have as a group, you're not going to be able to key in on one or 2 guys, and we're getting, like we talked about, we're getting goal contributions from defenders by Dan Lovitz playing balls behind the back line, Walker playing balls into the back line. So as a group that, we're not so much focused on who scores the goals. We're focused on, creating the best goal scoring chance we have, and whoever's in that opportunity, executing it. And I think, that's the next phase of how we can become more consistent, is finishing off those opportunities regardless of who's, the final point of contact to put it in the back of the net.
Go ahead, Blair.
Yeah, BJ, the U.S. Open Cup kicked off this week. Obviously, this is going to be your first time as a head coach taking on the U.S. Open Cup. MLS teams in the past have taken it at various levels of seriousness, I guess. So what is your plan? I know you still have about a month or so before you go there, but in terms of the team and yourself, how are you planning to take on the U.S. Open Cup?
Yeah, I mean, from a big picture standpoint, the U.S. Open Cup for me is one of the great trophies you can win in this country. It's got such history, and I take and Nashville, our team, will take tremendous pride in participating in the U.S. Open Cup. We will take it very seriously. One, because that's the respect that the tournament deserves. Two, we are a club that wants to pursue trophies, and there's only so many trophies as a professional soccer player in America that you can win. And anytime there's that on the line, we're going to give it our best shot. And as a coach who's been in this league for a while, I've had I would say the privilege and opportunity to coach in the U.S. Open Cup. And also been there 3 finals and have lost in 3 finals. So there's also, I would say from, any way that we look at it, Valère, from an individual standpoint, a team standpoint, a club standpoint, or also just what it means to the overall soccer ecosystem here in the United States, it's a great opportunity for us, and we look forward to playing in it.
And then going off of that, other teams within MLS have maybe 2 or more competitions they're playing in, like Leagues Cup and CONCACAF Champions Cup. For you guys, it's just the Open Cup and the league. Is there a worry that there aren't minutes for some guys for you to put out there in terms of healthy guys who just can't get on the pitch because there aren't enough minutes out there?
No, I think the great thing that you see here in this club is that we have true alignment from all 3 properties. So we have the academy, then we have Huntsville, and we obviously have Nashville. So even as you saw, I would say last week, when there might not be 90-minute opportunities for a couple guys, we were able to get Julian Gaines some minutes, Chris Applewhite 90 minutes, Wyatt Meyer 90 minutes. So we feel fortunate that we have a really good second team in Huntsville that's completely aligned with what we're doing. And we also know that as we get later in the season, whether it's through U.S. Open Cup or the schedule congestion that's going to come down the line in May, everyone's going to get the opportunity to earn their position and make a contribution.
Thank you, BJ. Thanks, guys. We'll be right back with Hany.
Yep, great. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
We are back with Hany. Hany, thank you. We won't talk about your birthday. It is your bobblehead night this weekend, and team's coming off a win. You're coming off a goal. Team's had good success against Montreal. You've had good success against Montreal. How's training going so far this week, and what are you expecting on Saturday night?
Yeah, it's a good atmosphere right now. I think the boys they look good, and we try to keep it up. Try to be as the best we can, and next game is against Montreal. Good opponent, very young team. They have a lot of qualities. I watched the game, and I think they didn't get the result yet, but they have a good team, and we have respect for them. But also we know what we're about, and we need to stick to the plan, and have our match game or match plan, and try to get 3 points at home.
Thank you. We'll start with Ben, and again, go ahead and ask 2 if you have them.
Hany, in the past you've talked just about wanting to play more with the ball and being maybe a little bit more aggressive. Just looking at the season and how you guys have done so far, do you feel like that's happening, and how has that been to play in?
Yeah, I think we can see slowly that we are going into the right direction. I think we have played the way for a very long time, and I think now with the new additions we got, very good players, they make us stronger, and they make us also feel comfortable in the way we want to play, being more aggressive, being more on the front foot. not being reckless, but picking our moments in the press, or also at home trying to keep the ball and creating chances, and being a team more with the ball.
And then I wanted to ask about last game, the penalty kick. Obviously, after not scoring against Portland, it didn't seem like there was any confidence issues with the way you finished that. Just how did you feel taking the penalty, and what about all the hot dogs that were thrown?
Yeah, I mean, Philly fans are rough. Coming from Germany, it's what you most likely get on every away game. But I like it. It gives you the extra motivation. But yeah, Blake is one of the best goalkeeper, and that was. I knew it before the game, and yeah.
Bob. So Hany, you getting a bobblehead this week. What's that feel like, and what's it going to look like when all these guys up in the stands look at these bobbleheads of Hany?
It's cool. Actually, it looks very similar to me, so I honestly like it. It's pretty cool. I will talk to my wife to have it somewhere in the house. We will see.
Julia? Are you starting to kind of see what the culture that BJ's wanting to build here, and what are the telltale signs of that? I know it's early, but what are some of the signs that you guys are heading in that right direction, you would say?
Yeah, I think when he came in, he was very clear about the way how he wants to play. I think for us players, we knew that if we want to make the next step, we also have to get better with the ball, being at home, especially more aggressive. I think now looking back, how we started against New England, we weren't that aggressive, and we talked about it internally, and we made our adjustments. And then our second home game against Portland, we were very aggressive. We created 22 shots. I think that is something we can build on. And it's very early in the season. We all know that there's still 30 more games to go, and we have a lot to improve. That's the good part. We are getting results, but also we know that we have to make strides, and we have to get better in the things we want to do to achieve our goals.
Obviously, so much of the preseason was spent you and Eddie building a rapport with him, kind of flanking you to the right, and then he drops a little bit deeper. You have Ahmed come in starting the last 2 games. It's showing up obviously on the score sheet, but what has that process been like of getting to know Ahmed, who's a very different player, different skill set, and how do you feel that's gone through 2 games? What are some of the differences as well?
I think first of all we have to say we did very good additions for this season. Ahmed, a very talented player, young player. I really like him. I try to help him, to give him my experience, because I know how it is coming from Europe to America. It can be overwhelming maybe, and I think we have to do our job to help him, to make sure that he's in a safe space, and it's okay to have bad games, but so far he has amazing games and he's doing well, but also knowing that we're here for him, and we're making sure that he can show his full potential. And Eddie is he has something special. He's so aggressive against the ball, but also very talented between the lines and with the ball. And I think both of them give us a lot. We have a lot of good players. There could be many more names, but I think these 2 have showed in the beginning of the season that they are really good for this team.
What do you find that's different about playing with Ahmed over there as opposed to Eddie?
Of course, Ahmed is a guy who can take players on and goes into the space. Eddie is more line breaking player. He can receive it. He's very aware of what is around him. Very different player, but I think for us it's the best that both are on the field. The position is not that important. I think Eddie in the middle, I really like him as a 6. I think he gives us, especially when we lose the ball, he wants to do the pressure, and he puts the work in. He has the legs, he can run forever. So 2 good players.
Well, Hany, you mentioned this team, the ability to take that next step and continue to improve based on these past couple of weeks that have been great performances. How does this team hit that next level? What do you want to see that can be improved upon still for you guys?
I think for me, we know how we want to play, and even when you have bad games, that you can still see the plan, that you can still see like what is Nashville about. And I think that's where we have to go, and we show that now. We want to play with the ball. We are better with the ball. We try build up. I got so many calls from my friends. They're like, hey, like, you know, guys are not kicking the ball long, you know, like in pressure moments. So people already can see it takes time, you know, it takes also trust and understanding of each other, and we're trying to train that every day. But in the end of the day, good game, bad game, we need to see that this is Nashville, this is how we want to play, this is our club's philosophy, this is, you know, coach's philosophy, players' philosophy, and that's where we can make the next step, being all on one line. And then you see that with LA Galaxy last year. I mean, you know, doesn't matter if they won or not, everyone knew how they want to play, or Columbus, you know, and these teams, and that's where we want to go.
BJ talked a minute ago about how they want to be a coaching staff that has hard decisions to make and have competition for places. How has the competition level started to go up as guys get healthy, as Brugman comes back, Schaffelberg over the weekend, and just what kind of competitive atmosphere are you seeing out there at training every day right now?
I mean, we all know that this season is so long, you know, like most of the time the players who play the first game are not the one who finished the season, you know, and during the season you will have injuries, you will have international duty, so many things, and I think you need to have competition in the team. You need to have players who can come in and replace players, and that should be a strength of ours, you know, if we get everyone healthy, and then we have a good squad, and it's good for the team. In the end of the day, when we compete every day in training, you know, we bring the level up, we, you know, develop younger players, you know, they can reach the next level, and we all have fruits from that.
Ross? Hany, with the midfield, the way things have gone seems a little bit more narrow than what it used to be. How have you had to adjust? What differences do you have coming in this year, given the midfield and how it's set up around you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, of course, with the ball, it's tight, because everyone knows now we want to go through the middle, and that's our primary, you know, option. But I think what is very good for us, and we see that when we lose the ball, we are so close to where the action is, and I think there has to be always understanding, and I like the system. I think it's great. We have the right players for the system, and I think we could see that over the last 4 or 5 games, that if we play it right, we can create a lot of problems for the opponents.
I know a lot of people want to talk about the relationship with you and Sam, and we're seeing it with Sam drifting maybe a little bit more to the left. What have you seen, and how that's evolved, and the different positions you two take up, and how you can use that to your advantage?
Yeah, I mean, Sam was, you know, when he came to us, he likes to drift out to the left side, and you know, like not being like just the focal point, being a modern number 9, or I don't know how to call it. And I think the system allows him that, and I think that was a good thing from the coaching stuff, to see like what are the qualities of the players we have here. How can we make them shine the best? And I think, you know, we see that slowly. It takes time. It's a long season, you know, like, but I think if we continue that way, we see the best out of Sam, out of me, out of Eddie, out of Ahmed, you know, and there are a lot of players who can make differences, and I think that is what a good team needs. We saw that with LA Galaxy last year. They had 4 or 5 players who can make the difference in every single game, and if we can create that for this team this year, we could be very dangerous.
And just on the penalty at Philly, in the build-up to the game, had there been any discussion about whether if you got a penalty that you would take it? And when you got the penalty, had you set in your mind what you were going to do in advance, or was it something, the way you ultimately scored it, was it something that you came up with then, or that you were always going to do?
To be honest, we didn't talk about penalties. We talked about the setup when someone shoots, because our setup wasn't the right, but we didn't talk about who shoots. I think, you know, my favorite player is Zidane, and Zidane has missed PK, so, you know, that's part of the game. I know it's hard, and it's, you know, like, there's no doubt about it that, you know, you lose a little bit confidence about it, but that happened. That's part of the game, and you need to build up yourself, and next one, you need to have that mindset, you score anyway. And there's always noise. This is the beauty of this game also, because everyone has opinions, and I think, yeah, you just have to consider what you can influence.
We'll go to Jacob on Zoom, and then Valette.
Yeah. Hany, in the past, obviously you've taken so much of the goal scoring load for this team attack. Do you feel like there's been maybe a bit less pressure on you this year, just with Ahmed coming in, Eddie, and even midfield and even defenders creating goal scoring opportunities for long passes?
Yeah, I think in general it's always healthy and good for a team if you have multiple people on the field who can decide a game, who can score a goal. Of course, in the end of the day, it takes a little bit attention away from me, but this is also credit to the team that we can score goals without me. I will score my goals. I will continue work hard and do my best and just try to get better. It's a long season. It's just the start. So yeah.
Do you feel like defenses maybe? Do you feel like defenses are approaching you individually differently in BJ's system, or is that maybe not the case? And if there are maybe a lot of differences in the way defenses are approaching you in BJ's system, I guess what are the biggest differences?
I mean, I don't know if they approach me differently, but the position I'm in is a position I really like, so that helps, of course. I mean, the whole league knows me now. It's not like a secret who I am in the league. So most of the defender knows what I like to do, and I always try to, bring new things to my game, and I have to develop, it's early in the season, and I have a lot of big goals. So we will see.
Go ahead, Valer.
And just speaking on that, Hany, in terms of your position, can you just, you've played in so many different roles for this team, so can you just describe, your position, I guess, currently in this system?
Yeah, so I, try to be in between. I think the striker and the midfield. I have the the freedom to drop, but also can stay high. So I'm not like just like a midfielder who comes to the ball all the time. I like also to receive the ball in the space. Sometimes in the right moments, and I think I can do that in this system. So I like it because I think it's very hard for a defense if it's easy for a defense if like an attacker or someone always comes to the ball because you always defend in front of him. But if like a player can go behind you and in front of you, it makes it more unpredictable.
And then I know you've observed Ramadan every year. You've been with Nashville SC. How important is that for you to do it again this year? And how challenging is it as well? Doing it year after year and being able to play games and practice while fasting.
It's for us Muslims, it's a very beautiful month. It's a special month. We are not only fasting from food and drinks. I know that's the main part, but that's actually just a small part of it. It's also to reconnect and fuel also your heart, and you can also get energy in a different way. Maybe you don't eat and drink, but the love, you fill your heart again, and we are all so busy during the year, 11 months. It is you have so many distractions, and it's always easy to find excuses. But this beautiful month forces us to reconnect and level yourself and realize that you need to be disciplined, and yeah.
Thank you, Hany. Thank you, guys. We'll see you Saturday for Bubblehead Night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Who wants the bubblehead? That's the question.